After watching this video, all of your problems with mixing 808 and kick will be solved permanently. And don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you with one ultimate technique. I'm gonna give you 4. So if one will fail, you won't need to search for another tutorial and waste your time. Without any further ado, let's get right into it. So to give you a little bit of context, here is the final beat. For the purpose of this video, I'm gonna use the Occupation 808 and Heavy Duty Kick. Both of those sounds are coming from my epoxy drill kit, which you can now get 50% off by clicking the link in the description. And that's the best drill kit you will have. So the first technique to mix 808 and kick together is to use sidechain compression. So you need to have a compressor on your 808 channel, and I'm gonna use the stock compressor from Ableton. And basically you need to put a sidechain feature on, and as a source for the sidechain, we're gonna use the kick. You need to lower the threshold to make the sidechain work. And there you go. For the settings, I like to use the very high ratio, actually nearly the infinite, really fast attack to make the sidechain work basically instantly. And all you gotta do is to try to make your release time the same as your kick initial time. And I think we got pretty close. So this technique will make your 808 duck whenever the kick hits. The second one is actually my favorite one, and it's kinda similar to the sidechain compression, but instead of compressor, we're gonna use the dynamic EQ. Of course, you can use the multiband compressor too, but the dynamic EQ is my favorite one. So the first step is to actually have your EQ on the kick track, and now we're gonna search for the main frequency of the kick. There we go. And now we need to lower this down and copy this EQ to our 808. And now the magic of dynamic EQ happens. So make your curve dynamic and lower the threshold. And as you can see, the frequency of 66 Hz is dipping like a crypto market now. There is a little bit of improvement to this technique if your dynamic EQ have a sidechain feature. In FabFilter Pro Q3, we need to push this little button because it triggers the external sidechain. And similar to the technique of sidechain compression with the stock compressor, we need to choose the source of the sidechain, and that will be of course our kick. And as you can see and hear now, whenever the kick hits, the frequency is ducking. I'm gonna analyze the signal from kick EQ. This red line is showing us whenever those two frequencies clash. Actually, we did a pretty good job with isolating those two. So to apply the third technique, you don't need any plugins. And it's based on the common sense of making a room for your kick in your 808. So the first way is to actually lower the attack of your 808. To make this a little bit more present for you, I'm gonna use this mode of the simpler so we can see this blue curve. Fade in is basically the same thing as an attack. And as you can see, we just made a room for the kick. And you can pair it with time shifting your 808. And how to do this in Ableton, all you gotta do is just press this D button and shift the whole 808 track by a couple of milliseconds. And once again, to make this even more present for you, I'm gonna use the extreme setting. As you can hear, it create a little bit of delay. And that's gonna work. So we just created a room for our kick to hit by shifting our 808 a little bit to the right. Okay, so the fourth technique. It's actually the most time consuming, but definitely effective. And for me to demonstrate this technique and for you to use it, you need to have your kick and 808 as audio tracks instead of MIDI. As you can see, now we have waveforms of our 808 and kick. And I'm not gonna dive deep into the phase cancellation issue, but the main thing you need to remember is that whenever the sounds have the opposite shapes, like for example here, those two will cancel each other. So it means you won't hear anything. So with that thing in mind, this technique is based off changing a pitch or time of your 808 or kick to match the waveforms, that it won't cancel each other. And now I'm changing the pitch of kick, as you can see, and that's gonna be actually a little bit too low, I guess. Damn, that's ugly. So we need to actually put our pitch a little bit higher, but it still doesn't match. So I guess the main pitch... As you can see, those samples working perfectly together. And of course, nothing holds you back from using the previous techniques in this one. So for example, we're gonna fade in an 808 to make room for the kick transient here. Now we're gonna make some changes in the volume. Nice! So yeah, those are 4 techniques to mix your kick and 808 together. I think the first 2 ones are the most efficient ones. And don't forget to check my Zdrewe drum kits, which are now 50% off, and the link in the description. And if you want to know more about how to make 808s, and especially 808 slides in Ableton 11, go check out this video.